Welcome to beautiful Fall City, Washington, a town platted in 1887. Small, but full of history and a rich past that gives this town its unique and lively culture today.
We're here today with Dwayne Isackson to learn the history of the Isackson Saw Mill.
He thought he had spruce, but it's not. If you want to smell it, the loggers called it what you smelled it. It's really, it's really white fir or alpine fir. You put it in your house for Christmas trees. They do grow up in Cedar Falls above North Bend. We used to go up there with kids and get a Christmas tree. They grew right alongside the road. They're probably all gone now because the people done that. You gotta go, it's an elevation tree. But you can bring it down here and it grows like crazy. Look at the growth ring in it. But that's a year, each one of them lines.
Oh, wow,
That's a line. You got 8 inches to here and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
oh my goodness, that's a fast growing tree.
This is the same wood. This is my sample.
Yeah, I can see it, white fir.
Or noble.
Oh yeah.
And Weyerhaeuser considers it lesser quality than hemlock. They usually grind it. They ground it for the core and the plywood. When it comes from Cle Elum, I tell people don't even bring it over unless you want just 2x4s, because when it grows over there, it has a lot of cracks in it. You've probably experienced that. And I don't know if it's from frost. It shouldn't be from frost because the tree grows at a cold temperature, so I don't know why it does that. It'll have black lines, cracks in it. You can't
Yeah, I
get
got
white.
grand fir on my property up at Snoqualmie Pass.
And this is old growth fir, finer grain. Maybe the years didn't last as long then. Maybe the earth turned faster. But you see how close together that is?
Yeah, VG fir, vertical grain.
And
each year
that's a piece of vertical grain.
This is really good stuff.
And this is a vertical grain in second growth. See the difference? How fast this one grew than this one. This one had a lot more sunlight.
Yeah,
This one grew and
very slowly.
had more competition to grow. It grew slower.
Very slowly.
Very slow.
It has to be like decades.
Second growth cedar, same thing. This is cut vertical grain too. Versus a piece of, that's western hemlock cut vertical grain. They still cut a lot of that for your moldings in the houses. It's pretty popular for that, especially high elevation hemlock. It's got to be clear though. And pine. Not native around here. People plant them, but they don't like our heavy snow. Lady across the road planted pine. First heavy snow, out went the lights, and come down on a power line. They're used to frozen snow that don't stick to the limbs like they do around here. Here's something I call junk wood. It's called redwood. Redwood that grows around here goes crazy because it's a tree that don't get water naturally. Grows on the coast, lives off more of the mist coming in from the sea. You plant it here and look what it does. This is a year, every one of them lines.
Yeah, that's less than a
So
decade.
there's no value to it. The loggers can't sell it. No mill will buy a redwood cedar that grows around here. So I get it. Ends up here. Cut it into something. This is a really good wood here. It does grow up in the Salton Basin of Washington. That's Alaska cedar. Your totem poles that the Indians in Alaska were all carved out of this wood. There's people every once in a while come in here and want to know if I got any. They want to do some carving. I don't carve, so I don't know why it's better than anything else, but they're always looking for it. This is another cedar. I think it floated down the coast. Alaska cedar floated down to Oregon. They call it Port Orford cedar. This one was planted up at Preston. And I cut a man a kitchen floor with it, out of it. he had, maybe half a dozen trees that they bought, you know, in a nursery and planted. This is Lebanese cedar, the cedar from Israel, that part of the world. Same way people buy that nurseries, bring it home and plant it. This is a fragrant wood, potpourri. You want to smell? That smell for years and years and years. So you take the sawdust, put it in a jar, put it in your house.
Put in a candle.
This is a good wood. This is our native spruce. Tough. The old days, all your wooden ladders made out of spruce. Alder. Happened to be a piece of clear alder. Yeah, when I cut that, now there's some buried under here. If you dig it out, the whole place will smell. This is our maple. It grows right here. Hard wood to work with. When it dries, it cups and twists, and that's why you look at a basketball floor, you never see a board over 2 feet long. Or a bowling alley. Can't make anything long out of it. This is a piece of locust, black locust, and you see the little dots in it. Come from Seattle. They were taking it down. A man come by and stopped them from cutting it up into small firewood. And he brought in maybe a half a dozen small logs up to 8-10 inches, long enough for me to cut, 8 feet long. And I don't know if this is natural to the wood or that's woodpecker been in there. See the dots? Does all locusts have that?
I don't know, you can see the birds I made.
This is our cherry. Cherry does grow wild in the woods around here. That's why we have Cherry Valley and Duval, because there's so much of it down there area. It's a very good wood. It's hard to work with. It likes to curl up when it dries. All your grandfather clocks are made out of cherry. This is a wood from the East Coast that somebody brought out to the. This comes from Oregon. A man brought it all the way up here from Oregon, from the Willamette Valley. That's black walnut. That's the only wood that when you guys work with it, you've got to wear a mask. That's poisonous. If you go online, look up poisonous wood. This will be one of them.
Why is it poisonous?
It just is.
Is it sawdust?
You can take the sawdust. You can take the sawdust and put it on the grass. It'll kill the grass. If you put it in your horse's stall, they'll absorb it through their feet, and they'll have kidney problems.
So if you put it on the floor right now, or
If you laid it there, probably. If you laid it there, but it would die anyway from not having sunlight. So it wouldn't be a good comparison.
so it's not poisonous right now, right?
No. But this fine sawdust that comes out, you don't want to breathe it. I imagine early days
a very
people that made
expensive
black
wood.
walnut
That's not
furniture
black walnut.
probably didn't have very long life. They didn't know. This is a very heavy wood. This has been in here under the shed for probably 15 years, but feel how heavy that is.
Oh wow, this is heavier than I expect.
It'll barely float probably if you put it in
I
water.
agree. That's the thing that's barely gonna float.
That compared to anything else, that's really heavy wood. I forgot what it was. Ash. And this is baseball bat wood.
Baseball bat.
Hickory. That's heavy too.
This
Real heavy.
is heavier than I expected.
They made bats out of ass.
Hold on tightly. It's heavier than I expected. No one hand. Only two.
Anyway, the guy that brought that tree grew in Fall City, one of the pioneer trees up there, was dying, and they brought it in here. And I told him, I says, you want me to cut you some 3x3s? You can make some baseball bats. He said, but by that night he called me on the phone and says, hey, cut me some 3x3s.
Oh my goodness.
Good reflexes.
You got me on that one. I forgot what this one is. Oh, chestnut.
Chestnut.
That's another one. See if I'd have dropped that on your foot.
Yeah, that is heavy.
That's heavy. And this is another one of Brian's boards here.
It's heavy because it's still wet,
Oh
meaning
wow.
green. So a tree, when it's just been felled, what's the moisture in a typical tree? Then after it dries down, a lot of the
Big.
weight is water.
Big difference, yeah.
Half the weight of a tree is water weight, and you typically will dry it down to 12, 15%.
Yeah, that probably weighs 20 pounds. And I think it's because it's a tree that grows with less water too. It grows more higher elevation. They bring it down here and it sucks up more water and it grows fast, growing in. That's what redwood, when I'm sawing redwood and the tree just come in, there's actually a stream of water running out the bottom of the saw. It's almost identical to our cottonwood as far as weight and sawing fresh cotton. Redwood. And if you lay it out here to dry, it'll get a black mold on it before it dries. It molds a couple days, yeah. But because it's so fast growth, a week's time it dry.
What was that wood that you cut for the shipyards? It was like cutting steel.
That was ironwood.
Oh, okay.
That's, yeah, South America.
That was cut for, my dad cut that for the shipyards in Kirkland for the ships they were building. The railings and anywhere where on the ship, the decks were at, the hatch covers are made out of ironwood.
I have a few pieces of that at home. That stuff is.
And as far as antique tools, to lift a log